This is The Current Buzz, a podcast powered by Oklahoma Electric Cooperative and OEC Fiber,
dedicated to teaching you what makes us different.
Welcome to episode 2 in a series of 3 where we are talking about energy efficiency tips specifically for the summer. Joining us again, Daniel Laughlin, our energy efficiency solutions specialist. Welcome back, Daniel.
Always happy to be here.
And fresh off of her trip to Belize, we have Kayla Wade is back on the team today. So we're excited to talk energy efficiency.
Hi, everybody.
So today, last time we talked about really low-hanging fruit, easy ways to save on your electric bills. Whether you're an OEC member or not, we want you to save energy. What we're going to look at today, and Daniel is very clearly an expert in this, are do-it-yourself energy savings tips. So some for the beginners, some that are a little bit more advanced. And Daniel has a wealth of knowledge in this, not only through his certifications, but also because he is an avid DIY-er and has built, how many decks and pools have you built at this point, Daniel?
2 pools, 3 decks. Yeah, we were
just joking about this.
Yeah, the first deck I built didn't have a cover, and it was just you sit up there and baked. So just like my home, I shaded my next deck.
We were just joking with Daniel. I'm working on a deck at home too, and he was asking about the progress, and I said I need the deck master. He said he's retiring officially after all of those decks. So
we built one fence when we were more youthful than we are today, and that was exactly one was plenty for me. It is a very detailed, to do it well, you really have to know what you're doing, right? So Daniel, last week we talked about keep the sun out so that you can keep the cool air in, that fans cool people, not rooms. What are some things that we can do at our homes that are small projects or larger projects? What are some of the ways we can save on our energy bill?
The biggest one I will lead off with is a programmable thermostat. They range from $50 to $250. So you can find some middle ground anywhere in there, but a lot of them come with a very intuitive guide. So you download their app, you pull it out, and you'll say, take a picture of your existing wires, and it'll literally tell you how to do that as a homeowner to move these wires into wherever to put this programmable thermostat in. The reason that's the big winner is because that allows you to control your HVAC. Your HVAC this time of year is easily 40% of your bill, if not more. So anytime you can adjust that thing a degree or two, you can save percentages on your bill. So programmable thermostats by far is the leading one.
And I want to pause you right there because you told me a statistic once before that I think what you said is a really good air conditioner when it is really hot outside, or a heater when it's really cold outside, can swing about 25 degrees. Is that accurate? So if it's 100 degrees outside, I could expect my house to be closer to 75 degrees. Is that still a good barometer for that?
Yeah, so 25 to 30 degrees is about the max an air conditioner can cool your home. And when it gets to 105 degrees, do the math on that. If you can keep your house, if it's staying at 75, your air conditioner is doing everything it can. You can't really expect it to do much better than that. So yeah, that's still a good rule of thumb.
Daniel, one of the things that I find myself doing often with a dumb thermostat, I guess, if it's not a smart one, is just right now it's peak hours, right? So every day when I leave for work, I crank the thermostat up because I want to conserve energy while I'm not in the home. And, once peak hours are finished at 7 o'clock, I go back down and I cool the house down just a little bit. Can you talk a little bit to how smart thermostats can help avoid all of that work, and how maybe they can be more intuitive for the times that you're needing those adjustments on their own?
Yeah, so they have programmable thermostats baseline that aren't smart, like you were mentioning, that you can go in on the thermostat itself and actually set daily and hourly schedules. Depending on the thermostat, there's like a 5-2 thermostat, so 5 days, then your weekend. They can go in, manually pick, 2 o'clock to pre-cool, 3 o'clock to bump up. You can do that on the thermostat. I'm a fan of the smarter ones, which honestly, for $20 more, you can get one that you can control from your phone, and you can literally just punch in a schedule on your phone, and it just does its work. You don't have to touch anything on the programmable thermostat. 'Cause if you've ever worked a programmable thermostat on the thermostat, you kind of got to have a degree sometimes to remember the buttons to press to get it to do all the things.
Yes, so many buttons. I just remember pressing buttons for what felt like hours. So yes, I love the idea of the ones connected to your phone.
So other than the easiest one, a smart thermostat, what are some other things that we can be doing in our homes to conserve?
Um, Caulking windows and weather stripping. Those are relatively easy tasks that a homeowner can take on. Caulk guns are $15, caulk's probably 8 or 10, and you can go around. If you've got your window should have a bead of caulk around them. You can check to see if that's dry rotted, cracked, come apart because your house settles. Well, anytime that is now compromised, it's letting that outside air into the home. So I recommend just going around with a caulk gun, just hit all those spots outside and inside. And then weather stripping, a lot of times the weather stripping is actually just a strip that fits into like a groove. It kind of pushes into a groove that you can just pull it out, go to the store, buy some more, push it back into that groove. Or they make the sticky tape weather stripping to put on doors. It's just to keep that hot air out of your home, right? We don't want the HVAC to have to cool all of that air. So anytime you can stop that air infiltration at the windows and doors, it's just a good idea. It's pretty easy to do too.
So when you're talking weather stripping, that's within the base of the window that I'm pulling that out and putting that back in, and then the also the stuff underneath that I would like either screw into the door or stick on the bottom of the door, correct?
Yeah, so the weather stripping is around doors. Windows is really just caulk. I don't think there's weather stripping around them. But inside where your window meets your wooden frame, you want to caulk that seam. And you could even caulk around the window sill and the trim underneath the window sill. Those are big time air leakers. You don't see that. But if you get underneath there and just put a little bead of, they make clear caulk. So it goes on to where you can see where it's at, like a whitish, smoke color, and then it dries clear. So you're not going to see it later on, but it does prevent that airflow.
Honestly, I think that's something that even I could do with my with my limited carpentry skills. What else? What are some other ways?
So shading. So the sun is very hot, especially today. I think it's like 140,000 degrees outside. So if we can plant a tree, trees grow. They have maple trees and stuff. They can grow 2 to 3 feet a year. You plant a decent sized maple tree on the south or west side of your house, it's going to cast a shadow on your house and cool it. So when they take those temperature readings, that's actually in the shade. In the sun, it's scorching. You're out, it could be 160 degrees. So if we can get a tree up there to shade the house from the outside, or maybe you're trying to build a little feature onto the back of your house. At my last house, my son's room was super hot. So I literally built a cheap little lean-to to shade the brick on that side of his house, because that brick got to 146 degrees. I shaded it. I did a thermal scan of it afterward. It was down to 96. So it cooled his room internally by 5 degrees, because I had a thermostat in his room, because again, nerd, right? It cooled the internal temperature of his room 5 degrees at night, which made sleeping in there way more bearable. I had the thermostat set at 73. It would never get below 79 because that brick just radiated that heat into the home. So shading that did wonders.
Yeah, and I
Well,
think one
and
of the things to think about is that solar energy is stored in that brick. So even once the sun goes down, it's continuing to radiate heat. It's continuing to heat your home. So if you can, like you said, kind of cut it off at the pass and cool it off during the day, then I think that is absolutely your best bet right now.
So I did something else, and my wife thought I was crazy in the beginning, but she saw the benefits of it. So on that west side of the house, I would go out there to water the garden or water the flowers. I would take that water and water the brick, and it cooled you could literally see the steam coming off the brick. It cooled the brick and made a difference inside the home. So it sounds weird to just squirt water aimlessly on a wall, but it cooled it. It's stopping that radiant heat transfer that you're talking about, where that stored heat in that brick, it shut it down. So
Yeah.
well, and a quick plug, one of the things we do in collaboration with Earth Day every year, and I think we've talked about on here before, is, to your point, Daniel, shade provides meaningful impact on your bills. So we actually have a free tree giveaway for our members, where members can sign up. How many trees have we given away to date? Do you know off the top of your head?
I believe it's 1,020. It's a random number. I know. There was a COVID year, kind of got weird, didn't get a full shipment, but I think it's 1,020. We typically do 200 trees a year. First come, first serve, usually the beginning of April that goes live, and those trees are picked up within an hour and a half. It is a huge success, but that program is neat in that you go onto the website, you type in your address, you actually get to pluck this tree that we choose because we have height requirements. We don't want to get into the power line, but you can move this tree around your property, and based on how that tree's canopy is over 20 years and how it shades your home, you'll actually get a energy reduction, stormwater collection, carbon reduction, all the benefits that tree provides to the earth. It's kind of a cool program.
Yeah, super cool. What else? Do you have any other easy DIY tips for us?
I don't know if this is a DIY tip, but I wanted to bring this up today because it's hot and people like to water their yard. People don't always equate watering their yard with energy consumption. And if you live on a well, like I do out in the country, water use is using a pump to pump that water out of the ground, right? And people will water 3 to 7 all evening because when they get home from work, I gotta water. So just be cognizant of that. We have the time of use rate, and if you're using that pump that whole time, that's going to really make your energy bill go up. So I recommend watering first thing in the morning. I water my garden at 5:30 in the morning. It gives it the most soak time before the sun comes out and really picks it off. But watering your yard 12 hours a day is probably overkill. You don't really need that, and it will make your electric bill go up. So it's not a DIY energy saving, it's just something to be cognizant of when it's hot and we want to water all the time.
No, that's great insight. Kayla, you again are building your own deck. Are there any other tips that you've reached or learned in your home ownership journey?
Oh gosh, a lot. And I'm always still learning. I think that's something that I will continue to learn on as I move through my years. But like Daniel said, I think shade is huge. I think just providing any opportunity to help your house conserve where it can. So adding extra insulation in your attic, if that's in the budget, just anything that you can do to where that energy that you're using in your home isn't escaping your home, I think will maximize the use that you do have and help you save money and electricity at the end of the day.
I'll add one more thing in here. I had a friend of mine call me the other day that they did a remodel in their attic and added a bonus room, and that room just got really hot, and she was asking questions on what can I do. Well, in talking with her, I found out that when they built this bonus room, they took away the attic ventilation because they had to have height requirements for the room, and they just somehow overlooked putting that back. So her attic is now not being ventilated, which is trapping that 160-degree air in there, nowhere to go. So it's just heating that upper room like a box. And so being as we get a lot of storms and hail recently, the past couple months, you're probably going to have a roofer come out and look at your roof. In doing that, just make sure that your attic is ventilated correctly when they do that roof install, because underventilated attics will actually add so much heat sitting on the top of your ceiling. So we want that air to pass through there. It's called a stack effect. So the cool air comes in through the soffit, the fresh air, and heat goes upwards to the ridge of your roof, and the air blows across it, pulls that out. So if you don't have enough air being pulled out of your attic, it's just going to create a really hot space up there. Just to be thinking of, since we've all had storms recently and roofers are out in the plenty.
Fantastic
100%.
guidance. Yeah, as always. Well, I will give one little plug for our next. We have one more episode in this series of how to make your home more energy efficient. Next time, we will be talking about ways that you can leverage high-speed internet, specifically OEC Fiber, and making your home a little bit more efficient and making sure that we're doing everything we can to help you, our members and our subscribers, save money. Anything else you would add, guys?
Nope.
All right.
No.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You can find us at okcoop.org and oecfiber.com.
Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.